You found yourself on Locked On Bulls. Are the Chicago Bulls leaving NBC Chicago? Yes. Who they're going to is the bigger question there. We're also going to talk about the best and worst destinations for Zach LaVine, and Anthony Edwards wants the MJ comparisons to stop. That doesn't mean he's not his daddy. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And no, they're not the same. Come on, y'all. What we doing here? Today's episode is brought to you.
Listen, everybody don't know that they're not the same, just like everybody don't know that all networks are networks.
With that said, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started.
Yeah.
Pat, so the Chicago Bulls may be leaving NBC Sports Chicago. Now, this is something that we talked about before. And it was commonly thought that with Jerry Reinsdorf acquiring Stadium, which is a mainly online streaming platform, that may be where the Bulls will be moving over. The Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the White Sox all move as a unit. They're all leaving NBC Sports Chicago. The contract runs out in October. They'll be moving over to a new network. There have been some speculation that Stadium was then going to turn around and buy some stations to create this TV station. Well, according to The Athletic, that may not be happening. Standard Media Group has kind of come in there now and maybe taking the TV contract. It seems like they are ready to create a new channel featured across a bunch of platforms, which then could make it a little weird, bro. So when you hear that a streaming service that's based in Chicago, that studios are in the United Center, may not be who starts airing the Chicago Bulls games, and it may be this other company. How you feeling, Pat?
I mean, listen, I think it's an excellent business move by the CEO, Deborah McDermott. You know what kind of power and cachet comes to your network if you're able to go out there and build up something with the Chicago Bulls, Chicago Blackhawks. And no matter what we think about the teams, right? Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, they're definitely three in there, but you would say two of the three most iconic logos in sports, two of the three most I know exactly what that is just by looking at it. Logos
Scottie Pippen
in sports. No, Scottie Pippen, watch yourself now. What's Pippen doing there?
No, that's what the Blackhawks logo
I know. Listen, it's still in there. You know what I mean? Hey, I didn't know he was around when they made this logo. Scotty's family has been in Chicago for years.
That's crazy. The roots go deep there, brother.
The roots go deep, dog. Scotty gonna be mad at us about that. Oh, Scotty, I'm sorry. Scotty, get out of here, Scotty. Scotty, we're not talking about you, dog. But no, I think realistically speaking, this is a good power move by them because it is an iconic thing. It's weird to me because Jerry Reinsdorf literally owns one, and we know how Jerry is. I don't know if he would want to get in bed with a different company because the Bulls and the Sox have kind of controlled their play-by-play group, their post-game group, their pre-game group, right? At least from what it seems, right? When we had people that maybe were a little bit too critical of the team, those people kind of got moved on from really quickly, which would lead me to believe that Jerry Reinsdorf has some displeasure with people trashing their team on a network that I believe at the time he was invested in as well in NBC. So now that you're seeing him have his own network, I would think, knowing who Jerry is, knowing how Jerry is, knowing how Jerry controls his teams, he would want to be on his own thing because he can control the voice, the media, the narrative that is on the Stadium network. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, money is money. So what was the deal that they were talking? 3.2 billion, I thought they said. Was that for that one? Was that 3.2 billion for that? I'm not
even gonna act like I remember that.
I thought I saw that. Oh no, 3.2 billion was, I tweaked. I got the TNT one mixed up. TNT, NBC. NBC's bringing $3.2 billion to try and get the NBA back from TNT. But money will be exchanged, and we know Jerry like money.
Yeah, and here's the thing that could happen, because Stadium, which is the company that Jerry currently owns, already kind of leases out content to air on other networks. So it could be that this new Standard Media, which is also based in Nashville, which we know Jerry Reinsdorf has roots in Nashville. That's where the Bulls did their training camp already. So it could be that, they own the stations, but then Stadium is providing the on-air talent through contractually or whatever they do. So it's a lot of different avenues and routes that this can go. But you know what? While there's still that option that the teams can extend their contract with NBC for 6 months, because that gives it a clean cut at the end of the seasons for hockey and basketball. But it seems like maybe they're not even going to do that. So we could theoretically see where preseason games are still aired on NBC Sports Chicago, hard cutoff start of the season, we're over on Standard or whatever it is.
Well, listen, it's not like we haven't seen this, especially with an NBA team before, right? The Milwaukee Bucks had this issue with Bally. I think the first 5 or 6 games were streamed on Bally, and then Bally lost the rights.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really just kind of how it goes. Listen, I've seen it where I don't know if you remember this. I want to say it was probably last season, but legitimately the Bulls were playing on ESPN, and mid-game they cut the game off because Disney Plus, or not Disney, who is it? YouTube TV had lost the contract with Disney because they were trying to see who was bigger. Yeah. Right? Like ESPN had lost the contract with Disney Plus, with Disney, I should say. They were trying to see who was bigger. Oh no, you're not gonna take ESPN away from the people. Yeah, all right. Game just stopped in the middle. It was just over. I was just like, I guess we're not live calling this game, guys. So like when you have like big companies going, they don't care about like when the season ends, when the season starts, clean break, all of that. They care about when is that check gonna come through. If it don't clear by the 30th, have my money by the 30th, or I'm taking your knees. That's how these mugs operate. And so I think that, you could see NBC Sports Chicago have a portion of these games. Now, what will be interesting to me, and what I think is the part that concerns me the most, White Sox I could care less about. Blackhawks, honestly, right now, I could care less about. Are we going to continue to have Adam Amin and Stacey King on Stadium? That's the most important thing.
This article from The Athletic does mention that as well. It does say that they'd be hard to think that Adam and Stacey King won't remain on live call. So
I couldn't envision a White Sox team without Jason Benetti for a while. Now he calls games for the Detroit
Well, all
Tigers.
I can say is that Stacey King's already thought about retiring, having to switch networks, and if there's different producers or whatever, let there be something that Stacey doesn't feel like doing. I can completely see Stacey being like, all right, y'all.
Gee, who would you? First off, I'm gonna hit Stacey up.
Bro, I have no idea.
To talk about it. Who would you replace Stacey King with? Stacey replaced Johnny Red Kerr.
I'm going to say this, bro, and I know this is 2 preseason games last year, Corey Maggette called, and he did a damn good job. It's not a name, but Corey Maggette did a damn good job.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I guess, what do you want from your color commentary guy? Corey Maggette was a great analytical basketball mind on the show. He was breaking it down. Yeah. It was very back and forth. It was a great basketball conversation. But at least for my local call, now on ESPN, I expect more. But on my local call, like, to me, the color commentary's guy's job is to get me hyped. It's to get me excited about the team. The play-by-play guy, he's got to make the game exciting. He's got to call the game perfect. Oh, by the way, listen, if you're looking for a guy, I know a guy who hosts a local Chicago Bulls podcast who also used to live call games and is very exciting. So, I'll send you my agent's number. But no.
Wait, you're talking about Ringo, right?
Oh! Wow! Wow! It be your own people, dog. See how he cut me off at the knee? Y'all peep that? It be your own people, dog.
Half man, half machine.
I gotta hit you with the Kobe White out here, dog. Like, my God. That's tough, man. Listen, I don't know who's replacing Stacey, but apparently Haize said I ain't leaving. I got to be like, God dang, who was that? That wasn't Mark Wahlberg. Who was that? Leonardo DiCaprio. And freaking,
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. Oh, God. That was good. That was well timed.
That was well timed.
1,000 points to you. That was great comedic timing.
Next up, we're going to be talking about Zach LaVine and what Bleacher Report has listed as the best and worst destinations possible for Zach LaVine. Before we get into that, though, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is BetterHelp. This segment of our show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get something off our chest. Big or small, certain things can really start to get to you. It's important to let that out, especially to someone who's unbiased on your life. So today, I want to say how I really feel about something. You might even be thinking about the same thing this week. Identify, messed up on that
you
one.
Good? You all right?
Therapy can be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems than our favorite sports team, and it's important to get things off our chest every once in a while. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Pat. So I want to talk about this article from Bleacher Report, and it had a list of the best fit and worst fit for one Zachary LaVine. Yeah, I don't know where the extra L came in at that one, but hey, it is what it is. Zachary. They have listed on here as the best fit the Orlando Magic. We'll start with this one first. The reason why they have it, and the actually solid reasoning here, they rank 22nd in offense, but they're a really good defensive team. So the mindset that they have here is that they do need that offensive firepower. They also have players in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, who's still on the rookie scale deal, so they could be, take on a bigger contract with still having a few years before they got to worry about extending those guys.
Right.
What do you think about the Orlando Magic as a potential destination for Zach LaVine?
Listen, first off, as far as guys who have injury issues go, he fits right in. No, that was shady. That was crazy. Crazy. You gotta let that one breathe. Calm down, dog. I think that listen, all jokes aside, Orlando, it's a fit, but it almost feels like a fit of just like we want to do something this offseason. It doesn't. I don't know if it feels like a fit of we're moving in the right direction, because are you bringing Zach LaVine there to take over the scoring of anybody on those top two names? He's not above Franz Wagner to me. He's absolutely not above Paolo Banchero to me. So you bring in Zach LaVine there on a $40+ million deal to be your third option. That seems a little bit unlikely to me as far as team fit. Sure, I think the team fit is fine. I think he'd be able to fit in that offense. I think he could be the spot of 3-point shooter that they desperately need. I think that he also fits well as far as spacing things out for Paolo, creating space. I think he might even help Wendell Carter with creating some more space, because there are a lot of those big body guys kind of plugging up the middle, especially with Jonathan Isaac on the floor again, who's definitely turned himself into a really, really freaking good defender this year. But I just don't know if unless you think you're going to make Zach LaVine option 2 there.
Well, no, I don't think
I don't know for $40 million if I'm bringing you in for option 3 or 4.
Well, here's the reason why I think that may be. I get the contract, but they may not be worth. There's $70 million below the first tax apron.
You're saying they got to spend on something.
So I'm just saying, like, I get it. I get what you're saying. It's like, do you really want to spend $40 million on the third option? And it's for some teams, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
And with where they are right now, that may be a luxury that they're able to afford
because everybody's so young.
Because everybody else is still so young. So it may be, and as we've talked about, they may look at it and say, hey, Zach LaVine's clearly showed he's not a first option, but as a third option, sometimes second option.
Has Orlando become a best case scenario city? Like they have to take whatever the best case scenario is.
Possibly, because
some cities are, like Orlando used to be the team that got T-Mac. Orlando used to be the team that got Grant Hill, and I know like those were they were guys that were injured, stuff like that. But like those were big name guys.
Right is what you told me. So he just fits right into what they've been doing.
No, I tried to get away from it. No, but like, have they become a team where like, a free agent's not going there?
I mean, here's what I'll say. I don't think that we've seen anything to say that they are a free agent destination yet. When's the last time a free agent signed there?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was trying to think of it. I don't even remember a free agent that was great signing there during Dwight's years.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you really look at this team, a lot of these players they traded for as well. Wendell.
Did he draft Turkoglu? Did they draft Turkoglu?
No, because didn't Turkoglu start off on the Kings? Or did I make that up in my head?
Or did they trade for Turkoglu?
I think they traded for him when he was younger. I think he started off on a different team, unless I just made that completely up in my head.
I can't even name
no,
you.
He started off with the Sacramento Kings. So
I can't even name you the last Orlando Magic free agent signing that I feel like was a big name.
Was a big name because I mean, like I said, like
it might be Grant Hill or T-Mac.
Fultz trade, right? They traded for Fultz. They got him because
he was broken.
Was ready to dump him. Yeah, he was broken.
His shot was broken, I should say.
No, and he still had the shoulder injury then. So
he was hurt.
Yeah, Joe Ingles.
That's a trade.
That was a trade. So
Joe Ingles was a trade.
Yeah, I don't know when's the last time they made a big free agent signing.
Hold on, I gotta look at this, bro. So, oh my god, this is the eight best free agent signings ever in Magic history. And listen, I don't think there's been much more since this. Tracy McGrady. Number one, obviously. Yeah. Hedo Turkoglu was a signing, apparently.
Okay.
Horace Grant. But that's 90s.
But was Hedo Turkoglu when they signed him though? They couldn't have been.
Playing a full 82 games, Turkoglu average career highs 19, 5, and 7. So what did he do before that? I mean, he was nice. The season before.
The season before signing with Orlando Magic, he played in San Antonio. He averaged 9 points a game, 1 assist, 1 steal, and he started 44 games.
So he showed out. Horace Grant is 3. Rashard Lewis is 4. Bro, these are like none of these are recent. Bo Outlaw in the 90s. Brian Shaw. Michael Petrus. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Maybe they always have been, and we just never noticed.
Because who's paid attention to the Orlando Magic in the
we
last
just
12
like
years?
The jerseys. That's all it is, bro.
So there you go. That's your answer to that. They aren't free agent destination.
Any other names on that list that stand out?
As far as what teams?
Teams, yeah.
Oh, it's just that is the best fit. And then the worst fit they had on here was the Sacramento Kings.
I mean, yeah, I get that because like Sacramento got to play a little bit of defense. Just like my God, like this. I'm telling you, bro. I get it. Like the Pacers have been better at defense post All-Star break, but it's like this much better. It's not like the best team in the NBA. Like they were still like 15th in defense, right? Like just that much better. And Zach LaVine don't fix it. You can't outscore everybody. And I'm gonna tell you this: watching the playoffs this year. This is the most defense I've seen in the playoffs in a long time. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of these games are ending 115, 118. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, hey,
unless it was that Orlando Magic Cavs series, that was a 90s series, bro.
Listen, that was get the ball down low, ground and pound. Hey, Donovan Mitchell put up 40 and they scored 99.
Bro, that was crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know, bro. That's I can see the Kings being worse. You got to play a little defense.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So
like the big.
I mean, I do think the Orlando Magic is, keep in mind with this as well. Something I want to point out: the Orlando Magic do own a lot of their own first. Technically, they have their own first round pick because it's not going to be in the top 6. That could potentially be something that they do throw in there.
We try to get some picks back. We try to vouch them. We try to like, hey, y'all want the aging guy that like probably isn't going to pan out how you thought he was. There you go.
But see, Vooch was also a lot closer to 30. I don't know.
Zach is what now? Zach is going into his age 29 season.
Damn, is he?
Am I mistaken on that? No, it's Zach LaVine right now. Zach LaVine is 29 years old right now.
That's No, okay, so it would be a reverse Vooch.
I know it fits the context, but a reverse Vooch sound crazy.
Hey, do you agree, bro? That's crazy.
Hey man, where was you last night, man? I went home with this girl. She gave me the reverse Vooch. I ain't never had that before. Hey man, before we get, now I gotta read about Mother's Day. Before we get to this final topic on the Anthony Edwards, Michael Jeffrey Jordan comparisons, we gotta tell you guys all about DoorDash. Listen, here's the thing. This Mother's Day, get your mother something thoughtful from DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest in tech, gift cards, self-care treatments, and more to make her day that much better. Shop with savings that would make her proud with DoorDash membership. You'll save with a $0 delivery fee and reduced service fees on eligible orders from DoorPass merchants that meet the minimum subtotal. Other fees, including service fees, do apply. Terms and conditions do apply. And all you got to do to make that happen is go to DoorDash right now and get all your Mother's Day gifts as unique as she is with the DoorDash. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with DoorDash. That's Locked On NBA, LOCKEDONNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms and conditions do apply.
All right, Pat, before we get out of here for the day, Anthony Edwards was asked about the MJ comparisons, which, hey, Anthony Edwards is killing it this playoff series so far, bro.
Dominating.
He says, I wanted to stop. He's the greatest of all time. I can't be compared to him. How you feel about that, Pat?
Listen, I don't think that that you can compare him to Michael Jordan as far as accomplishment wise, right? At this point in his career, Michael Jordan had an MVP. He had a Defensive Player of the Year. He was All NBA 3 times. I think Anthony Edwards has been on the All NBA second team once, right? So you can't compare him in that way. But I think the things that you can compare him to MJ, where it's just something we haven't seen in a while, and you know it when you see it. One, he's made Karl Anthony Towns a better player. Yeah. Now, Karl Anthony Towns always was a great scorer. He always was big, right? Like he always had skill and talent. But Karl Anthony Towns is dumb in the fourth quarter. Like legitimately, he'll be like, I got 5 fouls. There's 6 minutes left. What do I do right now? I'm going to grab this guy by the shoulders as he goes up for a layup and foul out of the game and give my team zero chance to be successful. Anthony Edwards takes all of that away. So you've improved players on your team already, and the mindset and their viewpoint of how important games are. That's check mark 1 in the Jordan, Kobe type of guys. Number 2 for me is the fact that when you look at Ant knows what the moment is, and the moment is never too big for him, and he's willing to take on that moment, whether it's trash talking, whether it's attacking guys on the other side, whether it's taking the final shot, how aggressive he is. I understand the Michael Jordan comparisons. And the third thing for me is knowing not to want the Michael Jordan comparisons. That's the smartest thing because everybody else, we're coming out of an era. We're coming out of an era of players who wanted you to realize that they were great, and they were going to tell you that you're going to tell me that we're great. That's the Russes. That's the KDs. That's the LeBron James guys, right? LeBron James told you once he did it, hey, that's greatest of all time stuff right there. Coming back down 3-1. A lot of losses in the finals, but okay. Hey, your perspective of greatest of all time. Kevin Durant was sitting there like, winning in the finals don't matter. I'm out here feeding my family, and I'm great at basketball, and you can't tell me I'm not. Russell Westbrook said, it don't matter what I've accomplished. It don't matter how much I win. It matters about how good I was on the court, and you can't take those accolades away from me. So we're coming out of an era of players like that into an era of players that I think their mindset is the Ja Morants, the Lukas, the Jokic. Well, Jokic is kind of on the other side of the era, but Jokic still winning in this era, I guess. Anthony Edwards. I have to win to make my name in this game. And I will go through anybody I need to go through to make sure that happens. Baki said this on the breeze, and I think it
sounds like something
up.
Diddy said also.
Baki said this on the breeze, and I think it sums up Anthony Edwards perfectly. Anthony Edwards is bringing an end to the friendship era in the NBA. Off the court, we can be whatever we are. I see y'all. When I see y'all, we're going to do what we do. On the court, I'm talking as much trash as I possibly can, and I'm going to take your heart out. That is very Jordan-like.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I get it why you don't want the comparisons. And just let your game speak for itself, right? But I like Anthony Edwards is playing at a level and taking his game to a level in the playoffs where it's just like that face of the league talk that's been around him for a couple of months now. If he keeps playing like this, it's going to be hard to stop those because Ant's playing out of this world, bro. I think that's the more important thing than comparison to Jordan's. Go ahead.
You know what I love about it that Ant is doing? He's not putting the cart before the horse. He's saying, let me win something before y'all start giving me these comparisons.
Yeah.
Right. That's the great. And he acknowledged Jordan. He says it's the greatest player of all time right there. And so let me win something first. But if he wins this year, if he finds what, because you got to think, if he gets through the defending champions, they might be able to handle OKC if OKC gets to the next round. They definitely, to me, can handle Dallas.
Yeah.
So you might be talking about Minnesota going to the NBA Finals. If Minnesota finds their way in the finals versus Boston, who you got? You think light skin gonna be able to stand up to Anthony Edwards?
It depends on if Boston's making their threes, because if they are, it's going to be difficult with that barrage. But and that's the thing that makes you trust Minnesota. It's they kick it up to a notch defensively where you're just like, hey, yo, bro.
That defense, bro. And I'm telling you, like, now, unfortunately, in this game tonight, no Rudy Gay. He is going to see the birth of his firstborn son. So shout out to Rudy Gay. Congratulations to him. Or firstborn child. I don't know if it was a son or a daughter, but I saw firstborn child. Man, I think that this Minnesota team has so much of a chance. And I mean, listen, you talk about Ant getting to the finals in his fourth year. Like, Mike didn't sniff the finals until year 7.
Did you say Rudy Gay?
I'm sorry, Rudy Gobert. Y'all know who I was talking about. Rudy Gobert.
Because I know my brain knew who you were talking about, but then I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait, what?
Rudy Gay, almost 40, firstborn kid.
That's crazy.
But no, Rudy Gobert is going to see his firstborn child. So congratulations to Rudy Gobert. Congratulations out there to Rudy Gay. And I mean, listen, if Ant can pull it off tonight, just Ant, conversation's gonna keep getting louder. Let them keep getting louder. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. We shall see, brother. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here?
Any last thoughts? Somebody Google reverse Vooch. Send me the definition.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Watch out for the reverse Vooch.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice for Pat the Designer. This has been Locked On Bulls. We out here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
The reverse gooch. I mean, whoa.
I heard a rumor. They said Drake and Meek Mill accidentally got caught in the reverse Vooch.
Wow.
Kendrick Lamar next disc gonna have that in it.
The reverse Vooch. That's crazy.
Oh God, that's funny.